All right, Anna, we're live. Send him out there.
I don't know where he is. I don't see him.
Well, he left his bottle of bourbon, so he can't have gone far.
Rob, what's your 20? It's time to start.
Sorry, guys. I'll be right there.
Audio mute trainers, Mike. Mute
Oh,
sounds, Mike.
Hey, guys. What's up? You ready to do this? Let's do it.
Waiting on talent. We're live.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Sorry about that, guys. We've got a great show lined up for you. We're going to be talking about live streaming to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and why what you just heard should never happen. This is Ready Take Live. Welcome back to Ready Take Live. Today we're going to be talking about this rise of live video on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we'll learn what can go wrong and how to make it right. I'm your host, Rob Baynard, and I'll be coming to you live every week from LiveX in New York. We do this show every Friday live in 4K resolution in Midtown Manhattan, just west of Times Square. And we're going to give you the latest in tech news and entertainment centered around live video. We're going to get you up to date with what's happening and help you bridge the gap between big budget broadcast and live social streaming. Get notified each week by subscribing to @LiveX Production on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we'll be answering your questions using the hashtag ReadyTakeLive. For the best viewing experience, subscribe to our YouTube page to watch this in 4K. Our main topic tonight is social live streaming, where we break down everything you need to know about going live to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Periscope. We're going to talk about Ben Rubin and the rise and fall of the first successful live social app, Meerkat, and how Twitter delivered the kill shot within 2 hours' notice on a Saturday. In our Ready Take segment, we're going to talk about some of the gear we use for live streaming. Aubrey Russell will be talking about bonded cellular technology from Teradek, and you can learn about Dante interfaces from our audio engineer, Nick Nagurka. I'll be talking about a new encoder from Wowza, developed in partnership with Facebook, but first, let's find out what's going on in live media.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
How you doing?
Doing
We've got
great.
Aubrey Russell and Nick Nagurka in the control room joining us for another episode of Ready Take Live. I'm going to kick it off this week in our news segment and talk about Amazon. And they killed their plans to offer live TV service as they're unable to make deals with TV networks that would make it profitable for them as both an Amazon Prime member and a DirecTV Now subscriber. I was a little bummed about that one. Aubrey, what do you think? Are you a Prime member, and do you have a cable subscription?
Hey, yeah, I am a Prime member. I do not have a cable subscription. I'm a cord cutter, but I do have a digital antenna. So I get ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, PBS, all the local channels. Yeah, I think it's kind of a silly move on Amazon's part, to be honest. It seems like they want to kind of be the I think ubiquitous is the word of choice for everyone's life. They want you to be able to come to Amazon for everything. Like, yeah, they have Amazon Echo. She's supposed to, or Alexa, sorry. She's supposed to help you with everything in your life. And the next step would be to be able to offer you live video. And now they're going away from it.
Yeah, I mean, I cut the cord a little while ago. I was a DirecTV subscriber, and when DirecTV Now, their streaming product came out, I jumped on it at the introductory rate of $30 a month. They promised to lock me in at it, and I've been pretty happy with it so far. But I'm an Amazon Prime member. I use Amazon Fresh for all my groceries and stuff like that. I would like to, even if it was more expensive, just pay one bill each month to Amazon. I mean, it's kind of weird that Bezos would not go the extra mile because all these television networks do have a price. You just have to make it worth their while to be able to include regular TV programming on Amazon Prime Video. So Aubrey, moving on, you wanted to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving that's coming up this week and tell us about the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yeah, so last year was the first year that Verizon streamed in 360 video for the Thanksgiving Day Parade. They had here I'll show you a little tidbit of that. Oh, there's Snoopy. So they streamed 360. They had 6 360-degree cameras at different points throughout the parade, and they went to YouTube, and then I also believe they went to Facebook and Twitter. But their main source of they mainly went to YouTube. That's where they got most of their numbers, and they actually had a huge viewership. For their very first year doing it, they had 1.3 million viewers online steady. So that's really awesome. They had a 349 million social impressions. Like that's what you want to be able to say that you did. And Verizon actually just won the Shorty Award this week in New York City for live event coverage online. So
That's awesome.
That's proof to me that the things like when Amazon's cutting their live video, it's like, these are numbers. This is the very first year they did it, and this is just 6 cameras. Like they could expand that so much more. These don't have to be manned. You set them up and you walk away. Like it's just switched in a control room, similar to what I'm sitting at. So yeah, I think that this year on Thursday, I'm bummed that I'll be on a plane and unable to watch it live. But they keep it up for about 12 hours, I'm sure, just to keep gaining views and social impressions. But yeah, I think it's going to be even better and bigger this year.
Yeah, I think one big reason why they probably kill it after about 12 hours is copyright issues. You know, a lot of Broadway shows and other musical performances are coming through the Thanksgiving Day Parade, and they probably only have like live rights that probably expire within 12, 24 hours after the original broadcast. So that's probably why they pulled it down. But, you know, still a really cool thing for people to watch and engage with the 360 video. We've seen a lot of 360 video and gotten a lot of calls for it in live lately. Personally, I hope it just goes away because the technology is really a mess, and you know, I personally don't find 360 video all that engaging. But we'll continue to develop, you know, our backbone for delivering 360 videos, and something like this, the Macy's Parade, is a really good use of 360 immersive video content. So, Nick Nagurka, you wanted to talk to us about the death of the Warped Tour.
Yes, indeed. So 2018 will be the last year for the Warped Tour. So, you know, they've had a good run, but I think just pop punk had its heyday in the early aughts, and now we're coming back to the world of EDM, where those big festivals are taking over.
Yeah, you know, I think that it's kind of been replaced in many ways by Coachella, South by Southwest, and Lollapalooza. Also, all the EDM, you know, festivals that have popped up, Tomorrowland, and some other ones that have made it really big. But you know, it's a little disappointing as being a child of the '90s.
Oh, certainly.
Growing up with the Warped Tour in my backyard in St. Petersburg, Florida. We had it every year. It was great. I was a skateboarder and really loved going to the Warped Tour and seeing not only my favorite bands, but also a lot of cool skaters and a lot of cool events surrounded by that.
Well, I think you'll be happy to know their last stop is West Palm Beach, so they are ending in Florida.
Nice. Aubrey is also from Florida originally, so shout
I hear
out.
she's going to try to go.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So shout out to all my folks watching in Florida right now. But also this week, you caught a concert live on Facebook, right?
I did. Well, as true to my Midwestern roots, I follow Wilco on Facebook, and they happened to pop up with a concert on Facebook Live in Minneapolis, St. Paul, hosted by The Current. And I thought it was a great show, and I really enjoyed watching it. The one thing I would say about it is that I would really like to see more shows that where they take care of the audio as a full split. It's really beneficial for us to think about concerts as an experience, and I really think that we would benefit, especially in live streaming, as really trying to make it more immersive. And I think if more people were to think about splitting out front of house and broadcast, then we could really do a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we, always ask for splits for broadcast because what they often want for audio in the venue is different from what they want for the broadcast. Oftentimes, the amps and speakers in the venue are a lot louder, and so they can ride it a lot lower and use less compression and processing that we would need to avoid any peaks or pops in the people yelling into the mics and stuff like that. But so it sounded good to you?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was weird because I had expected them to mix it in stereo, but it was a mono mix, and I think they could have really benefited just by starting to split it out to stereo. That's not always possible if you're taking a feed from front of house, and that's totally understandable. But I think really this like the addition of things, such as just going simply to stereo, or in the move of big festivals going to 5.1 or 7.1 or Atomos mixes, is really can be incredible if we take the leap.
So, also this week, MoviePass CEO Mitch Lowe said in a CNBC interview that the company may be adding a streaming product. The stock soared 20% on this news, and I, for one, would be a huge fan of paying more to stream movies at home rather than going to watch them in theaters. What do you think, Aubrey? You like movies a lot. You go to a lot of movies with your friends. Do you think that you would pay for an at-home streaming product to watch movies in theaters?
I think it depends on how much that costs for me. If it's similar to, I know MoviePass right now is doing a $10 a month thing for in theaters, which is like half the price of one ticket to see a movie in a theater right now, especially in the city. Then definitely. But to be honest, movies are turning around so quickly coming out to streaming services that I don't know if they're really going to be able to move it along that much. To show the benefit enough for that. Like if we're doing if the movie's out and then when it leaves theaters a week later, it's back on Netflix, like to me, there's not a big spoiler factor there.
Yeah, well, certainly there's a lot of deals that still need to be made with major studios and theaters to make this come to reality. So I think we're still a ways away from it, but it's nice to see it on the horizon somewhere, especially with all the craziness that goes on in movie theaters these days. So also tomorrow you can watch the live annual Leonid meteor shower from the robotic telescoping service SLU. The live stream hosted by astronomers Bob Burnham and Helen Avery will kick off Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. On top of the live stream, audiences will have a chance to send in live questions directly to SLU's experts. Aubrey and Nick, are you guys going to watch the meteors tomorrow?
I'd love to make time.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool option for those of us who live in light pollution-filled areas.
Certainly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to show them our new trick?
Oh, yeah, I think we should. Yeah, let's see if
it.
we can.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh,
nice.
We're working
Pretty
on
close,
it.
pretty close.
Nice. Nice. That's kind of an homage to the band Severe Tire Damage, who became was in our second episode that we talked about them. And they were also the first band to do a live multi-city high five. So that's what's going on in the world of live media and entertainment. Now it's time to turn our attention to a moment in live history. And this week we look back just a few years ago at the rise and fall of Meerkat. This is Live History. So, this week's episode of Ready Take Live is focused on social live streaming. It seemed only right to turn our attention to the first successful use of streaming on social media. Our Live History segment this week turns to Ben Rubin and the Life on Air team who developed the social streaming app Meerkat. Meerkat was not the first app that integrated live video with social media, but it was the first successful one. Developed in only 8 weeks as a side project to its Life on Air streaming service, Meerkat kicked off its launch with a partnership at the 2015 South by Southwest Festival. The company sponsored events, concerts throughout the week, asking people to share their experiences live online. Meerkat was only accessible on iOS at the time, and it required a Twitter username and password to sign up. From its inception, it relied on its use of Twitter's social graph to notify followers when someone was live on Meerkat and directed them to watch the stream. Twitter subsequently blocked the company's access to its social graphs, giving them only 2 hours notice on a Saturday that they were going to pull the plug. This move made it more difficult for Meerkat to acquire users and tap into Twitter's followers. Ruben and his entire team came into the office that day and started to reimagine what Meerkat could be in a post-Twitter linked environment. In parallel, Twitter launched its own live streaming service, Periscope. Of course, Periscope had the full backing from and access to Twitter's social graphs. For Meerkat, this blow could have killed them. But with true startup drive, Meerkat quickly made a strategic move and partnered with U2. They went live on Meerkat with 2 shows on the North American tour, their kickoff in Silicon Valley and their closing show in New York City. On just those 2 nights, Bono promoted Meerkat to over 35,000 people. It was a brilliant move, but ultimately a stopgap to the decline of the app's users, and Periscope quickly replaced it. Meerkat was smart. They put the partnerships in play to piggyback off of the following of celebrities and musicians to attract users. So many live streaming platforms focus on getting money out of users before making it a cool place to watch live content. That's backwards. Meerkat had the right approach, and it was sad to see them go away. Ben Rubin and his team have continued to develop other products, and they've now run an application called House Party, which is a party video chat for friends to have a live video conference with each other. It's a tough proposition because there are other products from Google, Zoom, GoToMeeting, and others who have developed similar group chat, video chat products. What Rubin and the Life on Air team are betting on is creating the cool factor that these corporate-feeling video conferencing chat apps have. House Party is more like a cross between Snapchat and Google Hangout than any other group video chat out there, and it's a much tougher market to crack. They really did get outplayed by Twitter with Meerkat, despite having the better product in many ways. With a better approach, sometimes having the best tool is not enough. You need to make sure that you have the IP that is proprietary enough so that someone else can't just steal your momentum and put you out of business. That's it for this week in live history, but there's much more to come on social live streaming in our in-depth segment later in the show. But first, it's time to talk gear with Aubrey Russell and Nick Nagurka in a segment we call Ready Takes. Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
So this week, Aubrey, you wanted to take it away with the Teradek bonded cellular tools, the Bond, and nodes that just came out.
Yep. So I wanted to chat with you guys about the Teradek Bond 759, which is new and no one technically has in their hands yet, but people have bonds in their hands already. So this is a special backpack version that they're making. But let me talk to you about the Bond first. So when the Bond started, it was its own individual module that served similarly to the Teradek Cube, but it bonded cellular signal together to stream to core, which then streamed to other platforms. So now they've created a Bond module that attaches to your Cube. It's just like literally slides right into the slot and you're good to go. So your Cube can still function with just a hardline Ethernet, or you can attach the Bond module and be able to bring in cellular data for your stream. So that's what the Bond module looks like. You've got 5 USB ports that can be used for either like 4G or 3G LTE sticks from different cellular providers. That's AT&T and Verizon. The idea being you get SIM cards from multiple services, and you're able to get the best out of each of those, whichever region you're in, who has the best service for that. Now they have a product to replace those USB, which is what you just saw a hint of, which is the Node. So they've made this product so that instead of paying money to your cellular provider, you can pay money to Teradek. But they've also made the product much better than what your cellular provider is going to offer you.
Yeah.
So SIM cards are free from your cellular providers. You just have to, once you set up and pay for the cell phone number, they're like, yeah, we'll give this to you for free. It goes in that little slot. See, it even has a nice little arrow for you that says SIM card. So these connect also via USB into the Node, and they have amazing speeds for streaming.
Yeah, I think it's like about double the speed of the older USB sticks, and it was kind of a pain that you had to like go on eBay and find some older USB sticks that would work, because the newer ones are basically like jetpacks where it's Wi-Fi only, and they have like authentication barriers that make it not as plug and play and as easy to work with Teradek Bond products. But these new nodes from Teradek are amazing. We use them on the MMA fighting Fight Week coverage of Mayweather McGregor just a couple of months ago, and we streamed live all week for hours on end from the Mayweather McGregor Media Center without any issues at all in a very crowded cellular environment. So keep your eyes peeled for the new backpack, because that's going to replace a lot of people's live views, right?
Yeah, so the whole point of the backpack is you've now got a portable solution to do it. The way that the nodes are, they're not quite as clean and beautiful as the sticks were in that photo, simply because of the cable coming off of them. So it doesn't look as pretty. The backpack makes it look very pretty. It's very all-in-one. See, look at that. It's all sewn into place. And you just run and gun it with your camera. I will also note that these have both HDMI and SDI inputs for them, and that it is also capable of 4K streaming. So
that's awesome. And HEVC, H.265
Yep, it has. That's
encoding
the next
as well.
thing is H.264 and H.265. So.
Yeah.
So it's a really good solution, and I seriously love the new nodes. We have a photo of, if we can pull that back up, graphics, of Rob doing one of our unboxings, and there he is, and he's unboxing a node.
Yeah, so you can switch over to our YouTube page and find the unboxing on the node and bonds, the new bond and the new nodes. And you can see me talk through it a little more in detail there. We have a lot of unboxings over there if you want to see some of the gear we use. But let's go over to Nick Nagurka, our audio engineer, where he's going to talk IP audio and Dante interfaces.
Yes, sir. So first up, I've got a couple of products from the company Studio Technologies. And Studio Technologies makes broadcast modules of all sorts, mostly for audio. And the first one I have up is the Model 43D, which is an IFB interface that also has Dante capabilities. The beauty of this is that if you're on a Dante network, all you need to do is plug in the box, and you can have wet powered IFBs available to you. You have two IFB outputs that are RDS pinout. It's fantastic, because before, if you were on any other kind of audio network or digital audio stream, you had to get that audio out into the analog realm and then send it into a device, which could then add power to the line and make it, a proper XLR connector with the right pinout. This is just so nice. We're going to use it probably very soon here. Next up is the Model 45DR, which is 2 channels of dual channel intercom. And that's also wonderful because it allows you to hook up to, again, any Dante network and get your comms in and out. It's great because then you don't need a 2-wire to 4-wire interface. And it's just, I think it's a really great idea.
Yeah. I mean, these things are so needed, and we needed more development in Dante and Maddie in general, and very in time with what's going on here in the next month or so when we move into our New Year's Eve production, because all of New Year's Eve is now moving to Dante infrastructure, right?
That is true. I just found that out. So that's going to be really great because then it decentralizes all of your routing needs, and anybody can take anybody's feeds that they need or see necessary, which is really, really exciting because before it really required, some people are going to take Dante, some people are going to take Maddie, some people are going to need AES, whatever. Now that's all able to be easily bridged, and it's completely decentralized. So the next product I have up actually is the Ferrofish A32, which is a 32-channel in, 32-channel out ADTA converter. It has a myriad of I/O capabilities. It's got 32 in and out of analog I/O on DB25 connectors, so you just break them out to XLR. Same with Dante and same with Maddie. So, you don't need a bridge to get from Dante to Maddie. You don't need a bridge to get from Dante to analog. It's all there in one box, one rack unit, and all the control is native on the box, which is really, really nice. So you don't need to hook it up to your computer to control any of your routing. It's all right there. It also has ADAT, if anybody still uses that. I'm just really, really excited about that. So you hook that up on the other end of a pair of those Studio Technologies boxes, and you can talk to any truck out there, which is fantastic.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I got one last product to talk about this week. We got our hands on the Clearcaster from Wowza. Now, Wowza has been developing tools for a long time on the streaming side for platform and pay-per-view and things of that nature. But they just partnered with Facebook to develop this new OneRU rack encoder. You can see it here. It has the Facebook Live logo right on the front. Now, what makes this different from other encoders that go to Facebook and everywhere else is that it was developed in partnership with Facebook, meaning it gets special features. Has anyone ever had the experience where you aren't quite sure exactly when you're live on Facebook? Well, this product gives you a countdown to let your talent know exactly when they're live and when they're on air. It also gives a return confidence monitor with exactly what the fans are seeing or the audience is seeing, and allows for chat and integration directly from this box. One downside is that it only goes to Facebook Live, and it's a little pricey, but it is UHD compatible. It will take in over SDI, 12G SDI or HDMI 2.0, a 4K signal, and it will then send it in 720 or 1080 to YouTube as needed, and as Facebook adds support for UHD, it's basically future-proof in that regard. So I am a big fan of single-purpose driven OneRU racks, and if all you do is go to Facebook Live, it's definitely worth checking out the Wowza Clearcaster. So that's it for Ready Takes this week. We're gonna dive into the ins and outs of social live streaming in a moment, but first let's check out this video on how LiveX used vMix to moderate photo streams from Twitter for the Toshiba sign on New Year's Eve.
How awesome would it be to have your photos show up here in the middle of Times Square? Well, just use the hashtag #BallDrop and your photos could be on the Toshiba screen with millions of people watching around the world.
Welcome back. In this week's Ready Take Live in-depth segment, we're going to talk about social live streaming. The popularity of live video on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter has led to an explosion in our business where every brand, agency, and media company needs more and more live video. Brands have long recognized the need for a good social strategy, and nothing is more powerful in creating meaningful interactions with your customers and audience than live video. Social media directors have become, in many companies, the driving force behind marketing plans for companies, both large and small, and agencies are pitching more social strategies than traditional air buys or digital campaigns as a way to increase return on investment. With advanced targeting and data analytics on boosting live posts, you're able to reach the eyeballs that matter to your content. Social live video gives a personal relationship between you and your audience that can't be replicated with uploaded posts. Social reach is higher, and your audience engages more with live content than pre-recorded video. Click-throughs and return on investment are higher in social live streaming than any other form of posting to social media. Today's audience doesn't respond as it once did to traditional air buys and overproduced commercials. We stopped trying to get people into the store or to the website, and audiences are now most accessible through native advertising and social experiences. And live streaming is the best way to bring unique experiences to your audience. Before Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram embraced live streaming, people could still promote live video on social platforms, but the player was always a third-party tool that usually wouldn't embed or play natively in news feeds. Clicking on the link would take them to either a live video platform or an embedded live player on a hosted website, making people leave their favorite social platform to view a video that was too reminiscent of a pop-up ad or a redirect that took you out of the active social environment and into a passive viewing experience. If television is a cool medium, passive in that it requires no action by the viewer, and radio is a hot medium requiring the listener to engage with an active imagining of the unfolding events, social live streaming can be seen as more lukewarm. Livestream, however, was one exception. They not only had one of the first tools for posting live video to Twitter, posting a link would populate a player and play inside of Facebook news feeds as well. But this wasn't enough. One feature that virtually every live video platform outside of social media had in common was their own live chat. Audience interaction is where the real power of live video comes in. And without it, most content creators would be better off just recording and posting a polished video rather than going through the effort and expense of going live. Unfortunately, live chats and live video platforms often required people to sign up for an account, be verified, to comment and interact with each other, and the talent on screen. This put more friction between the viewer and content and put up more barriers to the full experience. These registration gates were a direct cause of less interaction and shorter view lengths and engagements and the unlikelihood of people coming back. While many live platforms have very detailed analytics and data to share with their customers, it did very little for viewership. This is where the power of social media took over. Social platforms use their data and to target more viewers than ever before, and the native, frictionless viewing environment inside news feeds enabled content creators to reach their audience easier, and social features to notify, promote, and geolocate live streams led more users to watching, sharing, and commenting on live streams. Audiences and brands alike quickly realized the potential for live streaming free from registration gates put in place by many traditional streaming platforms like Twitch, Ustream, or Livestream, and watching and commenting with your favorite live shows without having to leave the comfort of your newsfeed paved the way to a more perfect union between the event and the experience. But it does not come without its quirks. Lack of support and a clear lack of communication on proper protocol, streaming specs, and API changes, social media products like Facebook Live, Twitter, and Periscope have made content creators dizzy trying to get a clean show out. Social media platforms started with mobile-only streams, meaning the only way you could go live was through a phone. This left little opportunity for industry professionals to stream their full show live and provide people with the quality they expect from major media outlets. When we helped former BuzzFeed CEO John Steinberg with the launch of his new financial news network Cheddar last year, they became the first media outlet to stream with multi-camera switching and graphics over Facebook Live. We did this using a black foam core box that we created and pointed a phone at in a production monitor to get the effect of a professionally produced show. We've been getting a lot of calls for Instagram Live lately, and we have the same issue now as we did back then. Instagram has no public API, and to publish live video using professional equipment is impossible. So this week, we put together a black box with a production monitor inside showing full program that we pointed at a production monitor to allow viewers on Instagram Live to watch our content complete with graphics and all our production cameras in the show. But this is the only way to do real multi-camera live production for Instagram right now. And it's not without its own set of challenges in that dreaded 9:16 vertical frame. Instagram has a long way to go, but I'm sure they'll release a public API within the next year or so to keep pace with its competitors. For most content creators and agencies, this will be the next big wave in social streaming, as Instagram outperforms any other brand when it comes to brand identity and building a community. Thankfully, we moved past these mobile-only obstacles with the other social platforms already, and in March 2016, Periscope released Producer as the first public API allowing an RTMP ingest stream from professional cameras, satellite trucks, and desktop streaming software. But Periscope still required users to view an embed rather than being fully native to the Twitter app itself. Facebook wasn't far behind with the release of their own API about a month later at their developers conference, and we again helped Cheddar that day with getting them online as one of the first media outlets to take advantage of Facebook Live. And it was that very same afternoon, immediately after the announcement. At first, both were only available to media partners and verified public figures, but they quickly opened up the platform to anyone who wanted to stream live. Twitter has now brought Periscope's producer features into the fold and released Periscope Producer for Twitter. Twitter is a natural fit for live streaming because it has always been about what's happening right now. And it has been the home of media members and celebrities alike who can take full advantage of their following with live content. As each of these live platforms builds their infrastructure, their streaming specs and workflows are changing constantly. Twitter has had more success with building media partnerships than any other platform out there, and its NFL partnership has consistently beat out Amazon Prime, and Twitter has shown that it can compete in this crowded media environment. We'll come back to Twitter in a bit, but first let's talk about Facebook Live. Promoting or boosting live posts can only be done with scheduled live events and not for any live video created. But in order to boost scheduled live posts, you have to select share, use a URL shortener so that Facebook doesn't know it's a scheduled live post, then copy and post that link onto your page, and then finally you can boost that post instead of boosting the actual live video. It's a terrible workaround. It makes no sense of why Facebook doesn't want your money. Of course, you can boost a live video in the ads manager after the live video is ended, but this loses the impact of a live video. Partnering with other brands on Facebook Live also requires a scheduled live post be created and clicking on the little handshake icon at the bottom that allows you to go live with a presented by sponsor. Live video titles don't show up in news feeds and only text entered, but you don't want to double up on your title because then it will show in the VOD with both the title and the text appearing redundant and unnecessary. To make matters worse, Facebook just added two-factor authentication to all logins, making it a nightmare for global brands to find exactly what phone the Facebook app sent the authentication code to. Facebook, like Periscope and Instagram, has no support for the general public. If you have any issues with your stream, you have no one to contact to fix it or get it back up. Their Content ID copyright trigger system measures the audio waves of any given video for a match and will take it down without any notice. The one caveat is if your show is a media partner with Facebook and can be whitelisted to avoid such takedowns. I've done it both ways many times over. In fact, one time I was streaming a live concert for a band to that band's Facebook page, and the Content ID system took down our feed. Trying to rectify a copyright pull down can take weeks, and by that time, the live stream moment has passed, making it virtually useless. Even if you play stock music that you own the rights to broadcast, the songs may be registered with the Content ID system and be taken down with little recourse. We've warned countless clients about this factor in the past and crossed our fingers every time we played a piece of music our clients owned the rights to. It's always a crapshoot when dealing with the limitations of automated social live streaming, where no one is physically watching for copyright infringement. And it's left up to computer algorithms, and this is why some major events still prefer using white label streaming platforms like Ustream or Livestream or Brightcove or somebody else as primary embeds to avoid unnecessary takedowns. Even smarter media brands find a way to partner with Facebook and other social platforms to get whitelisted and avoid takedowns altogether. YouTube Live also relies on a Content ID trigger system, so nothing is safe from these public platforms. Live streaming as a business used to be more segmented to education and house of worship or corporate conferences. Maybe the occasional internal meeting was broadcasted, but now anyone with a good idea can stream live to social and build a following. Twitch got it right, however. They put content first and developed a community of people who wanted to go to Twitch. That's why they were the most successful of the original big three private streaming services and why they were eventually bought out by Amazon for much more money than the other two. Ustream and Livestream valued platform subscriptions over content and lost their cool factor, which in turn paved the way for the rise of social streaming as the place for content creators to publish live video. There's so much more room for improvement here, and we've only just begun. One thing that is for certain is that live streaming is the most engaging and trending media available to creators today. And no matter what comes next, the team here at LiveX is always on top of the latest changes, advancements, and product improvements for the tools and platforms we all need to go live. We could go on for at least 10 episodes of all the differences in hardware, software, and platforms for social live streaming, but for now, send us any questions you may have to @LiveXProduction on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter using the hashtag ReadyTakeLive, and I'll be sure to answer them. And subscribe to our YouTube page to get notified and watch our show in 4K every week. We also have a number of unboxing videos that show the different products we use in live production. Thanks for joining us this and every Friday, and thanks to our team here at LiveX Studios and our founder, Corey Banke, for making this show possible. We're taking off next Friday for the Thanksgiving holiday, but we'll be back on December 1st. From everyone here at Ready Take Live, enjoy the weekend and best of luck on your next live production.